What is the total maximum daily load, or known as Tmdl, for phosphorus in Findley Lake? This was a survey done back in 2008 of Chautauqua County, New York, and it was prepared by the EPA and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. So what did they find, and why is this important? Well, as we can see right here, they took a lot of time to determine the load capacity, what was going on. So let's take a look at the background. So back in April of 1991, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Office of Waters Assessment, Protection, and Division, published the guidance for waters based on decisions, the total maximum daily load, also known as TMDL process. And in 1992, they published the final Water Quality Planning and Management Regulation. And together these documents describe roles and responsibilities the EPA states in meeting the requirement of Section 303 of the Federal Clean Water Act, CWA, as amended by the Water Quality Act of 1987, and Public Law section of the CWA requires a state to identify waters within its boundaries that are not meeting quality standards for pollutant applicable to the water's designation uses. And in Findley Lake, this was an issue, is situated in the town of Mena within the Chautauqua County, New York. And over the past couple of decades, the lake has experienced degraded water quality that has reduced the lake's recreational and aesthetic value. Recreational conditions in the lake have most often been described as slightly impaired or for the most recreational uses. And the lake was most often described as having definite algal greenness. And the aquatic plants regularly grow to the lake surface, though not in 2005, and continue to impact recreation. Recreational assessments generally degrade during summer, coincident with the seasonal changes in water quality and weed densities. Both weeds and algae strongly influence recreation. Lake productivity has been more variable in recent years, lower in 2003, 4, and 5, although recreational assessments did not substantially improve, and the variety of sources of phosphorus are contributing to poor water quality in Findley Lake. The water quality of the lake is influenced by runoff events from the drainage basin, as well as loading the nearby septic tanks. And in response to precipitation, nutrients such as phosphorus, naturally found in New York soils, drain into the lake from surrounding drainage basin by the way of streams, overflow land, and subsurface flow. And nutrients are then deposited and stored in the lake, both sediments, and phosphorus is often a limiting nutrient in temperature lakes, and ponds can be thought of a fertilizer, a primary food for plants, including algae. And when the lakes receive excessive phosphorus, it fertilizes the lake by feeding the algae, and too much phosphorus can result inevitably in algae growth. And this is causing problems for the lake. So, what is the history of this? Well, Findley Lake was created by Alexander Findley in 1812 when the damming outlet of two ponds, the ponds originally from the melting glacier ice about 16,000 or 17,000 years ago from Sherman and Wilson 2007, and the dam is now controlled by the Findley Lake property owners, Bora and Wilson, and the lake is regulated using a mechanical gate in the spillway at the lake outlet. And the summer lake levels are maintained about 1,420 feet above mean sea level, and it was sampled in 1937 as part of the Conservation Department and the Biological Survey of the Allegheny River Basin, and it showed the oxygen deficit starting at a depth of 15 and 20 feet from the surface lake. And as we can see here with the watershed and characterization, we can also see that Findley Lake has a drainage basin area of 3,000 acres of lakes. The topography of this is irregularly shaped rolling hills and valleys, and the elevations in the lake basin range from approximately 1,742 feet from mean sea level, AMSL, to known as 1,420 feet from Findley Lake. And the five main tributes there together at drainage are 62% of Findley Lake's basin, Sherman, Wilson, and the largest volume of water of the lake is Boonix Creek, located in the northeast shore, and the water exits the lake at the north into the west branch of French Creek, which gradually winds then south, flowing into French Creek at Wattsburg, Pennsylvania. So that's a good background of Findley Lake and what's going on there. As we can see, phosphorus is a problem, and it might be a problem in your area. But how do you know? You have to get your water tested. That's why it's always a good idea to have your water periodically tested for phosphorus.